Yeah.
Almost feel like a high school reunion right now, just a little
Nah,
one.
for sure. Media Tech reunion.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what's crazy is I admire everything that you've been doing up to this point, because the thing is, we come from the world of music,
Right.
and if people don't know, and maybe, I mean, of course, there's other lanes that require this, but when you do music, the very start of it is all faith based.
Right.
Like it's pretty much you believing something will happen if you continue, but there's no payout or there's no payoff right at the beginning.
And you're not doing it for a certain reason. You're just doing it because you love it, and that's
Yes.
just something that you know what I mean. You're just doing it off of straight passion, pure passion,
Exactly.
without knowing any business or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people understand that. A lot of times I think you view people coming in when they see the ball rolling or, things taking off. But the very beginning, I mean,
sure.
this is years.
Mhm.
Like we graduated in 2007.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the fruits of our labor at this moment.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that we had people standing in the background just watching or
Trying to figure it out.
yeah. Yeah. How do you feel at this point now, like in your life, I guess, getting to this point,
Mm-hmm.
what would you suggest anybody else who's trying to like get into the game and do the same thing?
I would say it's all work. You know what I mean? It's all work. It's all patience inside the work that you put in, because you don't really control. It's like some people say you control your own destiny, but you kind of don't. At the same
Right.
time, it's just kind of you got to be working while you have to be at the right place at the right time for other opportunities to open up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's basically been my life. It's just I've been at the right time, been working at the right time when opportunity presents itself.
Right.
And you know what I mean? It's like, dang, okay, I got a break here, I got a break there, I got a break there, but it all didn't happen just overnight.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember, and this had to be probably 2011 or 12, but I remember doing a show. It wasn't a big show.
Arnetic.
Yes. And I remember you came through, but like the networking involved in order for you to make those connections. Like every time I saw you, you were walking up to a vendor, you're walking up to like a person who owns something, and pretty much the networking part.
Right.
That part, I think it just never dries. Like it'll never get old because that's a big part of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, because even that's how I kind of jumped in the game. Like besides, doing the mixtapes in high school, when we start to do live events, I was the one for the Dream Team parties. I was the one going to the Ramada.
Right.
You know what I mean? Going to the Ramada and talking to the guys over the ballrooms and stuff like that. Like I'm 17 years old.
And people don't know Ramada is just it's like a hotel, right? Like a small hotel.
Hotel off of Camp Wisdom. And just not knowing what I was doing, but at the same time, it's kind of like you look back on it, it's like, dang, I was doing that at such an early age.
Yeah.
Trying to put stuff together, and just always being able to talk to the person that can provide opportunities. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just be talking to the wrong person, and kind of waste time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, and we were about, 16, 17, around that age. And I remember those parties. Like, it's unheard of now, I think. You don't see no one in that age group, but like talking to adults to try to secure a spot that you're going to run a party.
I think it'll be even harder today because there's so much going on in the world, you know what I mean? Like it's different, like back then, of course, it's less to worry about as far as, what I want to say, danger.
Yeah.
Kids would be kids, but at the same time, it was just like, okay, they might break something at most. You know what I mean?
Right.
That can be bought, but now you got to worry about like actually life insurance.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's different.
Man, that's crazy. Another thing too, because you're in the realm of DJing, I'm in the realm of producing. Okay, we come from the world of music. Now, for yourself, because I know it's very important as DJs too. I mean, as a producer, but music is made to evolve,
right?
And the thing is, when you have these professions or you're in the field that we're in, one of the things that I feel is important is you have to evolve with the music as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I think us maybe 10 years ago doing music, looking 5 years back, wasn't such a strong transition than it is like from us right now looking 5 years back.
Right.
It kind of smacked us in the face.
Yeah, it did.
And how many DJs, how many producers do you think bled out or didn't last that? Or you know what I mean? Like now became the old heads.
A lot, because how everything was built, you know what I mean? It was kind of like, I felt like you would have to stand on your own name basically to last through, those time periods.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If you think about the people that are still successful today, their brand was in their name. You think about somebody even like A Bebe.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go nowhere because his brand was always Bebe. You see what I'm saying? But someone that was, say, like, maybe in a group or DJs or something like a Definition DJs or Texas Trill,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, that really didn't have their name for their self, but they was a part of the group, and the group was bigger than their name. So when that ship kind of starts sinking, then their name sink with it because their name wasn't,
right,
bigger than the def. You know what I mean? Now some Definition DJs that came out of that strong, but a lot of them didn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's one reason that I've had meetings with like a lot of, back then I had meetings with a lot of, groups, a lot of DJ coalitions. And I never really, rock with one just because I was just like, man, I just want to be Trill.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Those were before I just want to be Trill and cuss. You know what I mean?
And literally Trill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but like you say, man, it's that time it can eat you up. You know what I mean? You can be stuck. You know what I mean?
I think the key thing is embracing the youth. Like, whatever comes out, you got to be open minded to it.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to stay alive in this field that we're in, you have to be accepting and open minded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can't just be too close minded into your own sound or your own taste.
Yeah. Look at Snoop Dogg. He's on Young Boy's album. He only has 2 features, Lil Wayne and Snoop, bro.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's crazy that, Snoop,
Yeah. I mean,
90s.
I saw the music video. I just couldn't, I'm just like, to think about that. Like, Snoop done went through every fucking phase of hip hop.
Yeah.
And he's still here.
Right. And then like back what you were saying, he embraced the youth. You know what I mean? He's not one of those guys that are, bashing or, just kind of like, nah, I don't rock with that because it's, the new school or anything. Because it's a lot of people like that. It's a lot of people. I mean, it's music that I don't really understand, but I respect it because I know that my age is different, than, say, like my little brother. My little brother is like 19 years old. So, of course, he's going to like stuff that I don't understand completely. But I respect it because I was 19 at one point.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
exactly. Yeah. And speaking of artists from our past, there's something that you've been doing on your Instagram that I love, and it's this whole, is it no skips? Is that what you call it?
The no skips. Yep, I do. It's like a podcast type ordeal. Basically, I take 2 albums and say like I did. Drake, Nothing Was the Same, and Trap Soul with Bryson Tiller. I let people vote on which one would they think would be, a no skips album.
Yeah.
Just where you can play straight through, and you know what I mean, and that's the base of it, and it's cool, you know what I mean, because it's a lot of we don't get to really talk about classic albums as a, socially.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of people do. They go back to their favorite albums and they just go back and listen to them, you know what I mean? So.
Right. And it feels like it's the perfect time because, the whole verses thing, too, it's like nostalgia all over again.
Yeah, for sure.
We're at that age right now. Like, a lot of us are in our 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, and they're bringing back all these artists from our childhood.
Right.
And, bringing the music back.
Does it feel weird to you?
No.
It feels weird a little bit to me.
Does it make you feel old?
It makes me feel old, but it also is just kind of like, these people are not old.
Yeah.
To us, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, dang, you know what I mean? Because I mean, because when we look at it, it's just like, you know, some of them are, but you know, some of like I say even Ross and Two Chains, like,
Oh
you know what I
man,
mean?
yeah, you're right. You're right.
You see what I'm saying?
They're still relevant to me. Like they're
Right.
still fresh to me.
But to I'll go back to my brother age, they probably old as shit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I guess it's because us as in our youth, I think there was rappers that were going past 10 years
Uh-huh.
that you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like us growing up, I would feel like we were listening to like Outkast or like Dipset,
Right.
but like those guys already been around already for some
Exactly.
time. And and then we didn't consider them old yet.
Right.
But these like it seems like artists now, it's like a 5 years is enough.
5 years is that's what I'm saying. And even like, you know, Ross and Two Chains, they probably 10 years deep. 10
Yeah.
years, more than 10 years in, and they don't feel like it just because it's just like, dang, that's just the guys that we just
I
know
never
what
thought
mean?
about it that way.
Yeah. So but I understand because I think about like if I was maybe 12, 13, 14 years old, like looking at these people, I'd probably be like, this is some old stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I wonder how the youth looks at like 90s R&B. You see what I'm saying? Because I wonder, do they look at 90s R&B how I look at 80s R&B?
I think they do.
And it's crazy though.
It's hard because you know, like me working lately, like in the rap scene, or when I was working with people like 18, 19, and already to them, they couldn't even stand the sound of like 90s R&B. Whereas like I want to insert elements of it,
Right.
and they're just like, what is that? Like
Yeah,
they don't
that's-
even want to hear it.
That's
You know?
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And right now, like this whole reemergence of things that like from our childhood,
hmm
I feel like for us, it's the right time for us,
Mhm.
but it's like, will it be the same for the youth?
Right.
Do you think so? Like I'm saying, like WAP, you know, for example,
hmm
like
Would that be like
10 years from now, do you see it doing the same thing?
I don't know, because you know how music is today, it feels like nothing lasts long. You see what I'm saying? You think about what's a WAP? Okay, I'll take Kaya. That's closest thing to WAP.
Okay.
My neck, my back.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Back then that was like the most explicit, like nastiest song, but it lasted for years just because of its, you know what I mean? WAP is more commercial. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it can kind of get burnt out so fast, and it can just, all right, what's next? And it's so much of that.
So-
You know, it's not rare anymore.
Right. The market's so saturated, it's kind of like we don't hold on to things long enough, or
Right.
yeah, we don't savor it as
Right.
much.
So
So you think like Kanye, Lil Pump, I love it. Like same thing.
I already forgot about that song.
See, exactly. It popped in my head right now, but I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
When it came out, it hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then right now,
I think a lot of songs, you know what I mean? I think a lot of artists are going through that too right now, because it's just like now they see is, you know what I mean? It's basically, all right, what do you have now? What are you doing now? You know what I mean? Now, it's some artists that are secure, you know, secure in their position by putting out, you know, good bodies of work, but it's just the ones that's like maybe with singles,
yeah.
that might, you know, chart or whatever, have good stream numbers, but it's kind of like then, you know, it's going to be another Little Pump or another NLE Chopper or another, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So as it is now, would you say Trill 5-10 years ago probably won't have no more no skips albums to deal with? Like I'm saying, for this new generation, for your opinion, I'm not saying they're bad songs, but I'm
No,
saying
right.
no one produces albums that the same way anymore, I think.
right, it'll be, if it does continue, like, I mean, in that time frame, it would be very limited, you know what I mean? You know, because you still have great albums, like you still have, you know, albums that are new, you know, like I would say even Roddy had a good album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like you have those type of artists that, you know what I mean, that basically keeps that alive. You see what I'm saying? And you can tell that they're going to be here for a while. But then you also have other artists that just kind of like, dang, that album wasn't, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
basically one couple songs and that's it.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I think, you know, and everything is full circle too. So hopefully, you know, we just going through the stage right now where I feel like it's because I feel like music has gotten better than it has been.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
for sure.
Because at one point, I was just like, man, I don't know what's going on.
You're right. You're right. I think even myself, like sometimes I didn't want to like people would send me links and shit,
Mhm.
and I'll listen to certain things, and then sometimes I don't know, like Rap Caviar. You remember? On
Uh-huh.
Spotify.
Yep. I
It
follow
didn't.
him.
It didn't update for a long time.
Right.
Like there was like a phase. I think like 2 years ago, it just did not update. It was literally like the same song.
ones.
Yeah. And it just started. Just it was an influx, and literally
Right.
floodgates opened, and all these songs started coming out.
Right.
I don't know what that was.
Cause songs just don't last, I think too, and then they just, you know what I mean. Cause the thing about streaming and sales is weird because now it's just like the popular artist can get a lot of streams, but the song can be just mediocre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you find that balance of what is the top songs. Because I look at Rap Caviar as a playlist that has the top songs. You know what I mean? And you want to be, you know. And now I still go there and I kind of be like, man, they missing some songs.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Still, like yeah, right now.
Yeah. So, but you know, it's all kind of, you know, kind of almost opinionated because numbers, you know, numbers can lie these days.
100%. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Numbers can lie. Like
You buy your way to the top now.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So you don't really know what is what, you know, purely anymore. You know what I mean? Until you just kind of be like, okay, everybody knows this goes hard. Unless it's an undeniable, like, all right, everybody know this is gonna be the top. You know what I mean? Great
Right.
song. So
Right. And another thing I do want to talk about, I was just thinking about it right now.
Mhm.
The relationship, like me being a producer,
Right.
I remember my manager always emphasizing, and this was years back, always emphasizing the relationships with the DJs.
Yeah.
Has that changed today? Like, is it like, because I've heard younger artists talk about like they don't need relationships with DJs or
Right.
they don't emphasize it as much anymore. Do you feel like it shifted?
It has shifted. It has shifted to where
I'm sorry, but I was gonna say you guys were looked at as people that were breaking records.
no, for sure.
And now I don't know if I hear that talk as much anymore, but I also haven't been producing as much.
Because this is the state we're in versus where we were. Okay, so when the DJs were the record breakers, we only had a couple sources of platforms musically.
Mm-hmm.
We had radio, which is the biggest back then, the biggest platform. If you get on the radio, then you made it. You know, rotation wise,
Right.
And then internet was internet, but internet wasn't internet how it is today. You know what I mean? Nobody knew how to upload to Spotify's, the iTunes, you have to have really good business to a good team to know how to do that early. So you really have all that. You know what I mean? But
Right.
you had the DJs who were the first source to the people's ears. You see what I'm saying? So people weren't going to their phones looking for music at this time. People were going out and on the radio. That's the only time that they hear music. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? And so that's when the DJs were able to break more records because we have the first ears. You know what I mean? We have, 200, 300, 400 ears in one night. You see what I'm saying? That we get to say, hey, this is hot. But now, okay, fast forward 10 years. Now we have, apps, multiple apps, streaming apps where you can listen to music basically for free. I mean, you're paying monthly, but it's free. It's all free music. You can listen to what you want, when you want, how many ever times you want. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? Without anybody, without going nowhere. You see
Right.
what I'm- without even driving in your car, without even, you see what I'm saying? It's the platforms basically.
Yeah, the whole process has shifted.
Yeah, and not saying the DJs are not needed, but I'm saying that the youth understands that they can make it without going the DJ route. Some people are still going to go the DJ route because they understand that DJs still are a piece. I feel like everything is a piece of a puzzle. You know what I mean? If you put some marbles into the internet, then you put some of your marbles into a DJ, then you try to put some of the marbles into the radio or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
then you have marbles spread out to where your possibilities increase. you know what I mean, of spreading your music, because that's what it is, just spreading your music. Now, if you just, you know what I mean, want to go the internet route, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean, you're limiting your source because now you're not reaching the people directly. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? You're just putting it out there and hoping people click your song.
Right.
So
now with DJs now, do you feel like their goals have changed, or like what they want to do now? Are y'all more like wanting to be public figures, or what is it that DJs want to do now? I feel like breaking records was a big part of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the DJ business has changed just because, of course, we see the Khaled's, we see, you know what I mean, people like what's another one that's like not like Khaled, but just DJ in business. Oh, Envy.
Envy's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, Envy. You know what I mean? He's not putting out like records like that, but he's a business DJ. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he's a successful DJ, and so he's basically branded himself where he's DJ Envy. He's not known to be anyone's DJ. You know, and back then everybody was somebody's DJ. Hey, I'm the Road DJ, or I'm Lil Wayne DJ.
I remember that.
Such, you know what I mean? But now, like, you know, DJs just want to have a name for themselves, and whatever they doing, you know what I mean? If it's podcast, if it's playlist, if it's DJing live, if it's whatever it is, they just want to have a name for themselves and create their own business. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
I see a lot of them now establishing themselves at like nightclubs or like spots, or like
Mhm.
does that shift when let's say, I feel like, well, I don't know, I haven't been out in the scene in a minute, but I'm saying clubs used to, like, it was almost like a phase, like it was popping and then it doesn't, and then you move on to another place.
it's still like that. Yeah, it's still like that. I've seen multiple clubs in my tenure. I see a club that I started at close down and reopen as another club, and be back DJing at that same spot as under another name, under another look, under another everything.
That's
you know
wild.
what I mean? And it's just like you said, like some DJs, the end might be the first time the club closed and they never came back from it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, especially in this pandemic, like this pandemic messed up a lot of people that if they wasn't, you know what I mean, secure, you know what I mean?
I see it. I mean, tensions were high. I mean, I'm friends with quite a bit of DJs, even you know, even on Facebook, and I could even see some of them getting into arguments, and yeah, just over. I know shit is fucked up right now.
Yeah, hell yeah. So, but like you say, that hasn't stopped. You know what I mean? As far as the moving around and stuff changing, clubs opening and closing. But the good thing is, I feel like now people appreciate going out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they didn't have a choice. You know, in 6 months, they didn't have a choice. It's like, you got to stay home now. You can't even have the choice to go out. You know what I mean? And stuff is we talk about this in the documentary. It's different, of course. You know what I mean? From when we was growing up and going to clubs. Like, when we went to club, it wasn't about the section. It wasn't about the, you know what I mean, who's who. It was just like, you go in, you go have a good time. Everybody is just having, you know, good time, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Now of course, everything is, you know, you want to have a section, you want to have your own space, you want to sit down, you want to, you know, have some good food, you know, while you listen to music, while you know what I mean? It's just more, I ain't gonna say classy, maybe bougie for the city for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From where Dallas came from is way more bougie. But,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of an adjustment that I had to get used to. You see what I'm saying? It's still fun. It's still, you know what I mean, it can get turned up, but at the same time, it's not like a club circ. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where you can go and just turn the fuck up. You know what I mean? So that's the difference between, like, you know what I mean, now and, you know, back then.
I was going to ask you that, like, since, you know, you're out DJing again, and after this whole pandemic, are people acting a fool? Like, since it's like, I ain't got to party in so long, and then they go out, like, or is it?
It seems like people are enjoying themselves more. You know what I mean? It seemed like the people that are out, because that was my first weekend back last week.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? I felt like, but it almost, because I only go out to DJ.
Right.
So, like, I try to rock shit. So, like, it was just the same to me. It was just kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm rocking that shit. But, you know what I mean? I felt like the energy was there for sure.
Yeah, you had to, I mean, your job is to actually read y'all's crowd as well. And that takes some motion sensory shit that I don't understand. Well, I used to DJ.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you that, but like before I was producing,
Uh-huh.
I was DJing first, but I was DJing on vinyl.
Okay.
But like I started off at like family events. I'm sure you know about that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
so
yeah.
I had like my mom bought
So
me like
you know
some.
who's likes what already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm Mexican, so like
Right.
we're like I had to play some Mexican shit and fucking Tejano music and like all this shit. And I was like, I don't even know what they're saying,
Right.
but I'm saying even reading my family was hard.
Right.
But it's a thing. You gotta have some little like you gotta sense your people around you, and
That's what I tell people about DJing. Like people that like, it's a lot of people come up to me and say, "Hey man, you inspired me. I want to be a DJ. What advice could you give me?" It's just about DJing. And I tell them, learn music. Music knowledge is the most important thing about DJing. It's not what you do with your hands. It's not what, you know what I mean? It's just knowing music. And so just my music span, just how I grew up, you know what I mean? It's wide open. You know what I mean? It's just so wide open. And I'm kind of, I always say this, I'm happy that I was born when I was born. You know, I was born in 88. So I got the best of, you know what I mean, listen to my mom, listen to my grandma, listen to 70s, 80s, you know, 90s, you know, grew up in the 90s and then was, you know, a teen coming up in the 2000s and now, you know, old enough to understand where the music is going today.
Yeah.
You know, think about, say like the gap between my daughter and me is not the same gap between my mom and me. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, like I can understand TikTok. I understand the songs that are coming from TikTok. You know what I mean? But if we had TikTok back then, my mom would be like, hell no, turn that shit off. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's just the gap is way too big. You see what I'm saying? But
and little by little, we become less sensitive to anything that gets a little more extreme.
Right.
So like, yeah, I mean, there's like fucking 10-year-olds singing WAP right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It came on the radio one time, and my daughter was in the car, and I was just like, man, I'm finna turn this off.
Bro, I'm still like dreading that shit because, you know, like my daughter, she has Spotify.
Yeah.
And I didn't do the unexplicit one. She
Right,
has the one, and I'm just like, eventually I'm gonna just hear her listening to this shit. It is what it is. But
I mean, because we was young and we was listening to shit that
we listen to Webby, Savage Life.
Yeah, hell yeah,
yeah.
hell yeah. So it's kind of like, long as you respect.
Teach your kids sense. Like if they hear some bullshit, they don't know whether to accept it or not. I feel. I know that I know when I ran across bullshit at 15, 16. I didn't eat up everything you told me.
Right.
I feel like, you know, you teach your kids right, you don't got nothing to worry about.
Right. Exactly.
Man, that's nuts, man. Like, so we graduated in 2007.
Yep.
You've been DJing since 06?
06.
And then looking, like, you're right, because I'm thinking about myself, and I'm grateful for that. I tell people all the time, whether it's music or just in general, like playing outside.
Right.
We were the last of the generation to enjoy a lot of shit. And also, like, we saw the floodgates open.
Mm-hmm.
And if we survived and didn't bleed out, and we've evolved with the time, we're doing really great right now.
Yeah, because we were able to adjust. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, dang, man. You know, we look at just going outside. You know what I mean? That was huge for kids, like back then.
Yeah.
Now it ain't none of that.
It's nothing. Nothing. I mean, my daughter's 12, and like no kids her age are outside.
Right.
None.
It's crazy, bro. But they have their tablets, they have their phones, and it's kind of crazy because that's how they live. That's how they spend their time. You know what I mean? Their outside time is online, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, to think about. But that's just how the way world is now.
Now, which one's more dangerous, being outside or online?
That's a good question.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, I think about
it's
that
about
all
the
the
same.
time. Yeah.
It's about the same. But the thing about outside back then is everyone knew each other. And so everyone had pretty much, so nobody was going to take you. You know what I mean? I have zero recognition of anybody getting kidnapped.
Same.
From my neighborhood, but from being outside.
My parents worried about that shit. I think the awareness went up, but it actually wasn't as bad as it was like in the 70s.
Right.
I felt like then it was a lot easier for some shit like that to go down.
Yeah.
There was no internet.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the most you can do with a kid is just get in trouble or doing some shit, some stupid shit.
Now it's safe as fuck. These kids don't want to go outside.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's definitely not going outside now. But Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy to think about it, you know. But like you say, um, people like us was able to adjust. We've been able to adjust together separately. You know what I mean? Just to think about where we started, you know what I mean, and like how we kept coming together, not even being forced. It's just like, oh, he's working with such and such. Oh, I'm over here. I know this guy. You know what I mean? They don't even know we know each other. And
That's
so
crazy to
you
me.
see what I'm saying?
Because,
And
like,
so,
this is the thing. You went on your path to DJ. I went on mine to do more of like songwriting and producing.
mhm.
I start working with local artists. You start doing your thing too, and literally full circle. Here we are, like we're at the listening party for Fab's album,
Uh-huh.
Flex and Fab, and I produced
Yeah.
the whole album. And there we are, like crossing paths. Again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, who could, you know, like who
Yeah.
could write that down and like be like tell that story? You know, like
Right.
a few can, but it's like there was nothing to put us together except what we started off with.
And I
this music.
wish that, and that's the craziest thing about it, because this is normal in somewhere on a bigger scale, like in New York or Atlanta.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because those markets are huge and have more success. You know what I mean? So it's like this is what supposed to happen. You know what I mean? But we're supposed to be on a way bigger scale, just because I feel like our market, you know what I mean, kind of holds us a little down, you know what I mean, as far as
That's
our
a
value.
good point.
You see what I'm saying? Because if we were in, we would be, you know what I mean, this is the same shit that probably, you know, I don't want to say other podcasts, but like Joe Budden or somebody, he probably ran across some people back then, and he's sitting around next to him right now like, God damn, we doing this shit together like this.
100%. You saying that just it makes me think of something that I've always talked about for years, and it's the fact that Dallas just lacks infrastructure.
Yeah.
It just does, and everybody who looks like they're promising to build it leaves.
Right.
Most of the
exactly.
time.
Exactly. No, for real. That's the dead honest truth. And
Why do you think that is? You think Dallas is a vacuum?
I believe Dallas, it's almost like a one at a time thing instead of multiple at times, and business can come together as one. I
Mhm.
think one person gets his shot at this time, then another person gets his shot at another time, and so once they get their shot, there's no business here. So you know what I mean, they leave. They just like, okay, now it's time to let go. You know what I mean, and do my thing. And you know what I mean. You look at people like Dero. You see what I'm saying? He lives in Cali. You know, shout out to Dero. You know, he made his connections where he still can be moving good. Like his fan base and everything is Cali, Florida. You know what I mean? Like Dallas, you know, Dallas is Dallas to Dero, but it's just kind of like, you know, when people get their shots, they see how Dallas kind of treats them, and then they just go. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. It's hard to,
It helps their careers, but I think it could hurt the city in the long run.
oh
too.
yeah, absolutely. Because we don't have that. We don't have the Gucci Mangs, the Q, what's his name, P from QC. We don't have the, you know what I mean, the Diddy's a big name, but you know what I mean, like people that just can make the market strive and continue to strive for a long time. You know, back to back, and where there's no gaps. You see what I'm saying? We had, just think about the gap between Dero and Yella Beezy. That's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
You see what I'm saying? As far as successful music, like those are two people that have the highest success in Dallas as far as artists. But you know, what I mean, the gap is way too long, bro.
Yeah, it
you know
is.
what I mean? So it's kind of like, when are we going to have that nonstop business where it's just kind of like, oh, Dallas is rolling on its own. You know what I mean? You know, and I say Houston is already it's kind of been like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, Dallas needs to be the next one. What I'm saying is like Dallas is big enough, the market's great enough that it can stand strong like in LA. It could stand strong like New York.
Because people look at us like that.
Yeah.
You see
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
they depend on our market to play their records.
Oh yeah, people come to Dallas and get paid. You know what I mean? That's what Dallas is to other people. Dallas is like, oh yeah, we're gonna make sure we tour Dallas. You know what I mean? That's on the Texas, because you think about Texas. You know what I mean? Texas is a huge state.
Yeah.
Some people only tour when they go on tour. They tour one state in that city. I mean, one city in that state, and people come to Texas and hit like 3 cities. You know what I mean? At least. So and Dallas is one of the second biggest city in Texas. I feel like I mean, as far as the market goes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of like now, but what are we doing? You know what I mean, for ourselves to be able to be like, okay, this is Dallas, but we're gonna make sure everyone else is as successful as the people that are coming in and getting money. You know what I mean? So it's a tough thing, to actually be here and look at it like that and know it's like that. But then you just got to keep working at the same time, because you definitely want to. I always say, when that time comes, I want to be in the right spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be laid up and not working and be like, dang, it's happening. Finally, it's happening. And I'm nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
You
got to stay active.
You got to stay active. You got to stay active. So
now, is this anything that you cover in your documentary, or what all is being talked about in it?
So it's I don't even have like a exact name for it. I just call it the Dallas Boogie documentary right now, because that's what it is. So basically, I cover the timeline, the whole, especially basically the Boogie timeline, but I go before the Boogie. I break it down into chapters. The first chapter is before the Boogie scene, which you pay homage to Lucci, Pookie, DSR, Cloud, Nino, all of them. Just everything before, what I mean, basically 2006, 7, what I mean, because I felt like that's when the Boogie movement started, what I mean. So that's the first chapter. Then, we go into the Dougie, which is the second chapter, which is, pretty much the breakout song for the culture that introduced the Boogie to the world, what I mean, the main song that actually, like, okay, it took off.
This all starting in Dallas, by the way, if y'all don't know. This is all Dallas artists.
Yep, all Dallas artists. Mm-hmm. And then we go into the Dallas Boogie chapter, which is the Broad. That's when the Stanky Leg comes out, the B-Hamp, Ricky Bobby. That's when Check Out My Lean comes out. That's when everybody, you know what I mean, throwed off, Mr. Hit That Hoe. You see what I'm saying? I can go on and on. I got all those artists, like, what I mean, that did their interviews. So it's kind of like we touch on the peaks, the highs and lows, and we get their stories, what I mean, during that time. Because you think about it, this is ringtone time, this is MySpace time, this is YouTube baby, test baby time, where we were the first ones to be on YouTube and dancing, and
this is uploading your photos on Photo Bucket time.
No, for sure.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so and it's it's good to hear the stories, because it's like, I was around, but I wasn't with everybody directly, so I don't know what everything that transpired. But it's just great to hear, what I mean, because now, I mean, it was about 10 years, more than 10 years ago. So people are more comfortable of talking about it. They embrace it more. Yeah. It's probably instead of 5 years ago where it was kind of still fresh and was just like, man, I don't know if I want to talk about that.
Yeah, because I think they probably inside felt washed up, or people probably gave them that feeling that they were.
Sure.
Yeah. But a lot of people were hesitant. Yeah. Now to me, it's like a celebratory, or like you should be proud of that shit.
Absolutely, and that's what it's about. Like I tell everybody that interviews or all the artists, because the thing about documentaries or interviews or whatever, whoever is controlling it can set the narrative. Yeah. What I mean, it can be a negative narrative, it can be a positive narrative, it can be whatever. But I told them, I say, man, I'm looking to make this educational. What I mean, your stories is your story. So whatever comes out of that story, it might be some dramatic stuff, it might be some emotional stuff, it might be some real stuff, it might be some negative stuff, it might be some great positive stuff. Right. But the whole thing is educating people on this era, because this is the only Dallas era that we had together. You see what I'm saying? Where multiple people got signed, multiple people made lots of money, and we had a name for ourselves. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Did you get Paco on there?
I talked to Paco, so we're gonna get Paco on there. I talked to George. George was posted. I need to hit George because he was dealing with some family stuff this week, so we was gonna get him on there for T-Town, Corey Cloud. It's a couple of more people that I gotta get. I was trying to knock out all the artists first, just to go ahead and get them done, and then we have like the influencers and DJs and everybody else. You know what I mean? Just kind of to help fill it. But I'm shooting to be done. Well, I want to stop shooting Dallas scenes interviews at the end of this month, and I want to. We got to go out of town. We got to go to Houston. We got to go to Austin. We got to go to LA.
Yeah.
To shoot. But then the editing stage that might take a while. So probably early next year it'll be done.
That's hella interesting, man. I didn't know you were doing that, but yeah, that whole concept. Like, I guess I would have never had thought that, but that's a big part of even my childhood and my youth. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, what inspired you to do it? Like, did it start?
Oh, I got Quick Mix. He did his what you call him. It was dope. It was dope.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was big.
I ain't talk to him in a minute.
You said it again.
Oh yeah, like what got you to start? Like, what inspired you?
I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I was busy. You know what I mean? It's just like you have to have time to put it together. Like, I had it on paper. Like, I write everything down in my notes and everything that I want to accomplish. You know what I mean? And document, because I want to do a Dream Team documentary. Yeah. I said 2 documentaries I want to do. I want to do a Dream Team documentary, and I want to do a Dallas Boogie documentary.
If people don't know, Dream Team was the crew back in high school. Yeah, like so Trill, basically you were their DJ, or like, what would you say y'all? Because y'all were like a collective of just artists, and you were the DJ.
So we had
because I don't want to sidetrack too much, but I do want to talk about that.
Yeah,
that's interesting to me.
That's perfect. So Dream Team. All right, so how Dream Team? I'm gonna break out how Dream Team started. So before it was Dream Team, it was me and Jamar. Mar was the singer of Dream Team once he became Dream Team, but we weren't in the group together yet. It was me, Mar, Rakim, Chris Jennings. We all played football together, and we were about in the 8th grade, and Jamar, the only person that had a studio at this time in his house. It was just, big desktop computer. He had the stuff where you can record. It wasn't, we was recording on Acid. So, you know what I mean?
Damn, throwback.
Yeah, Acid Pro. So, you know what I mean? That's when I really started. I was trying to rap at this point. You see what I'm saying? I was just like, okay, we a group. I love music. They love music. He can sing a little bit. Let's try it. You see what I'm saying? So we dropped it was called Pass the Mic PDM, and we was doing that from like 8th grade to like 9th grade, and then Mar ended up transferring to like Molina, and so
essay school.
Yeah, so
he was with the essays,
and Rakim and Skylar used to always kind of battle it out about rapping. You know what I mean? Because Skylar and Mike was together here. They was doing the Threw Away the Pen freestyles. Then they was putting their mixtapes together. So we had PDM on one side and Threw Away the Pen. NWP. That's what the niggas with punchlines. That's what their name was in high school. So this was like 10th grade. So they asked me because I was starting to put out my slow jam release, chopped and screwed tapes in high schools, and they asked me to chop one of their tapes and stuff, and like, cool, I'll chop it, I ain't tripping. You know what I mean? I like this shit. I like doing this shit at this time. So
yeah.
So I did a few of their tapes, and they was like, all right, you gonna be our DJ? I'm like, all right, I'm y'all DJ. Mars at another school. We're like, cool. All right. Well, what we gonna call ourselves? It's like, I don't, you know what I mean? Fantastic Four, that's when Mook and AC, they kind of joined in, and now it's starting to be, we have money, we have rich, we have, now it's not even just music, it's just a crew.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, we the Dream Team. You see what I'm saying? This is the Dream Team now, because we formed as just a crew, not just even music. And so now we're just a crew, you know what I mean? The Dream Team crew, everybody putting out their projects. Like, I'm doing my stuff. With the slow jams and then Sky, Mook, Mike, AC, they the Fantastic Four, so they putting out projects, but everything is under the Dream Team name. And so senior year come around, okay, Dream Team is popping, you know what I mean? Everybody know that we doing music, we doing just a crew. It's just, I guess the Dream Team is over there. We have our own wall at Duncanville and everything. There go the Dream Team wall.
I was gonna ask you, were y'all using the school audio stuff too? Sometimes? Yeah, the studios? Hell yeah, I was doing that.
That's our senior year, because the senior year, that was my first time in media tech. And so once I got able to use that stuff, because Mike had a studio in his crib and Mar did too. But once we was able to use that stuff too and start shooting videos and all that stuff, it's just like, okay, now we got a lot of stuff we need.
Yeah. And that's unheard of, bro. Like back in like 2006, 2007, having an entire crew that can handle all of that shit, it was hard enough to find somebody who made beats,
right?
Let alone everybody does a little bit of something.
Exactly. And so we had everything. Trey did the pictures for us and the artwork, and he was using Photoshop heavy. Like, I learned Photoshop and media tech, but that wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like, I was always just on the music side. And we just had everything in-house, and so we just decided to throw a party our senior year, spring break. And it was just like, man, let's just do a dream team party for spring break. And we did a dream team party, man, went crazy. Like, people loved it, you know what I mean? And we was just like, okay, this is something that, you know what I mean, we can do together. This is MySpace days too, so we're getting popular off our parties. So we getting more popular even now outside of Duncanville. Like, DeSoto people are starting to learn about us. Lancaster, Cedar Hill know about us. A lot of people starting to know about us just because of our parties.
Yeah.
And so we're still doing music. We're still putting out projects. Now, Mar, I'm still going to Mark crib and everything, and he's playing me music. I'm like, dang, Scholar should jump on this. Mike should jump on that.
You started curating the records.
I started putting stuff together, what I mean? And it's like, okay, this sounds good with that. So now we have Mar added to the Dream Team, and now he's, we're putting out records on MySpace that people love. So that's when you get Love Potion. You see what I'm saying?
And Love Potion's the one that took off for y'all.
That's the one that took off for MySpace. You know what I mean? And on the original Love Potion, I think it was Mar, Mike, Mook, and Deontay, Carriel, and Lanice. And I don't even know if Scholar was on the original one at first.
Yeah.
But it was the first original one, everybody was doing, like, we had Midnight Love, we had Lay You Down. So everybody was on songs with Mar, but it was different. You know what I mean? But that Love Potion is what made it okay. Dream Team is now a group. You see what I'm saying? A music group. You see what I'm saying? Because now you see Love Potion and the artist's name is Dream Team.
Yeah.
But so now artists decide if they want to go that route now. Because we go from hardcore, like, lyrical rapping. Back then, you see what I'm saying? You really want to rap. You really want to do that.
Yeah.
Or you want to do this slow, Pretty Ricky style of music. So that's when artists started being like, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to go this way. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to go this way. Then you have your core. You have your four. You have your Sky, Mook, Trey, and Mar the singer. And me, that's when I come out. I'm just the DJ, but I'm the energy as well, because I just, I write, I, direct. I make sure everything falls in place. I'm the business. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it was created, and it worked, bro. It worked.
No, it
out.
did. It did. I remember that in high school. I used to watch y'all guys and what y'all were doing, and I was just like, shit, like, y'all got the full team. Like, the Dream Team was the proper name, because I was an artist at that time too, and I had a record that took off for me, but the thing was that I didn't have management. I didn't have a group. I didn't have video. I produced my own records. I recorded myself. It was just it was chaotic.
Right.
I had offers thrown at me, but I didn't have people to look over that paperwork.
Right. And I remember you, shit. I would always be checking in on you, like, oh, I see him over there. He doing his thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we all young at the same time, so we don't know. Like, we just see basically a little bit of numbers that we just can see, and we're just like, oh, people know about it. People are saying AZ, know what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people are saying that, to make you, like, know that you're out there, but you don't know, like, okay, now where to take it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was very oblivious on the music business side, but I fucked up by thinking I just couldn't trust anybody.
Right.
Like, I just always thought people were out there to fuck you over.
No, and then that's kind of almost the right way to think, because it was a lot of people fucking people over around that time too.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that made me more hesitant, where it's a gift and a curse if you think that way, because you can really hold yourself back, or oppress yourself from actually achieving success.
Right.
And for myself, I had offers thrown on the table, didn't understand the paperwork, didn't understand ringtones, didn't understand none of that.
Right.
I told Adrian this the other day, but remember Turn My Swag On.
Yeah.
How big that record was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before that record dropped, months before that, the producer of that record, I forget his name, he messaged me on MySpace because he heard the Toss Ups record.
Yep.
And he was like, yo, man, I fuck with this. You know, if you want to fly out to Atlanta, I forgot where it was. He's like, you know, let's work.
Right.
I ignored it.
Dang, that's crazy.
3 or 4 months down the line,
Yeah.
turn my swag on all over the place. I'm like, fuck.
Right.
But that's just me. No management.
And it's crazy because it's still like, I mean, that's something that can happen still today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you never know who is who. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, now you didn't went through that, you're going to be kind of like, now I'll be like, okay, let me do my further research on this
You
person.
have to, bro.
You know what I mean? Just to make sure that it's not, you're not going to miss a blessing, because it's just.
Because producers, a lot of them motherfuckers look like me too. Like you wouldn't think somebody like me would make stuff that I do, but that's why like a producer approaches me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, hey, what's up, man? You know, show them love. And
Right.
I got to Google search. I got to see what's up.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to see where they've been and where they working. Because, man, like a lot of us dudes are low key, especially in music.
Yeah. No, for sure. And so, but yeah, that's how Dream Team was formed. You know, we still tight to this day. I was just texting Scholar.
Oh, he owns a Smoothie King, right?
He just owned his, did a deal for a second Smoothie King.
The second one?
Yep, he has one in Fort Worth. I think the second one would be in Arlington. Yeah,
Man, shout out to Skylar, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since high school, man. But you know, he's always
good,
been
bro.
a good dude. Yeah,
yeah. I was talking to him, texting him before I came here, because I sent him. I don't know if you know a guy named Lil Loaded.
Artist?
It's an artist. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's from Duncan. I mean, he went to Duncanville.
He's been here. You talking about he does like rock and rap?
He does.
What you said, Lil Loaded? I think you said Lotus.
Oh no.
No. I don't.
Loaded.
I've heard that name, but I never.
It's crazy. Like, one of his videos is shot in Center Ridge, apartments in Duncanville. It got 12 million views on YouTube. He got a feature with NLE Chopper, and he just dropped the one called High School Dropout a couple days ago.
Oh, he just Adrian just pulled it up right now.
Yeah.
Pull up the one with NLE Chopper.
And it's crazy just to see Duncanville in that setting, but it makes me proud though. It's kind of like, okay, we still got some shit coming, because he's like maybe 19 years old.
Man, that's crazy to me, because it feels like Duncanville, just for some reason, talent comes out of that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Talent comes out of that bitch, because that's where Young Nation was from, right?
Yep. You got Young Nation, you got Lil Peace, you got the Mop, some of the guys from the Mop.
Yeah.
I
forget the name.
Huncho Blast. That's my little brother, best friend.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Duncanville's always had its. You know what I mean?
What's in the lunch, man?
I know. So,
where they serving up?
You got it's people in here that I know. You know what I mean? This video is like, you know what I mean, that I grow. Josh Harris, Lil Norman. You know what I mean? 574.
How many views is right there, Adrian, in total?
Total views is 12 million so far.
It's crazy, right?
Wow, bro. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
His other one,
Lil Loaded. Yeah, I've heard his name. I don't know why I thought you said Lotus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's dope.
The one he just dropped, it dropped like a couple of days ago. It almost hit 1 million. And so,
you know what? You posted this in your story, right?
Yeah, I posted the new one that just came out. And because I wanna like, because I feel like I'm late to the party.
I'm late
for something that's in my backyard.
Yeah.
And I want to just be able to support. Like, I'm cool with some labels. I sent those videos to a top label guy, just to, you know what I mean, just to, hey, put this on your radar, because it looks like he got something brewing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and see, that's what I appreciate about DJs, because you guys do shit like that, and sometimes y'all don't do it to look for a payout or anything. It's just the fact that, like, yo, pay attention to this dude.
Right.
Keep people on game. But
he's from where I'm from, so
yes,
I mean?
You gotta,
like,
yeah. Show him love, and it's a big part of the whole game. It's like, I've talked about this a lot of times, but like mentorships, apprenticeships, and stuff like that. But like, we were at a beginning where it was hard to figure shit out. And right now, you can simply Google search and find out how to make beats or find out how to do certain things. But at the same time, that stuff still don't get your foot in the door.
Nah.
And if we're at a position where we can, hey, you know, you need to pay attention to this guy or listen to this dude, we're gonna put them right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's all about connections. Like, I tell everybody that relationships and collections is real. You know what I mean? People don't just get a degree and graduate and find a great job that they deserve. They have to know somebody. You know what I mean? To get paid like they want to, they got to know somebody to put them in a position, no matter what type of papers you didn't earned or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Relationships are always important. You know what I mean? The connections you make is all. That's why I'm always a communicator. Like I shake anybody. Hey, how you doing? I'm Trill. You know what I mean? Just what do you do? You know, because I never know. So it's just like a lot of people don't have that mindset. A lot of people will just sit back and just, you know what I mean, keep their mouth closed and not even, not even know they're in the room.
Yeah.
And not saying it's a good or bad thing, but you might miss an opportunity, you know what I mean, by not speaking. So
yeah, what is the fascination you think about wanting to be friends with the DJ? Not even just artists, but even you the public, like people who are at the clubs or at the scenes. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
Because that's never changed, and the thing is,
DJs get love.
Yeah, I put DJs and hairstylists and barbers as Rolodexes. Like, y'all guys got all the plugs.
Let me tell you the new people that's on the scene now.
Tell me.
The cooks, the chefs.
What?
If you can cook right now, you the guy. Like they are the new DJs basically.
Why is it?
Because everybody eats, everybody likes good food.
Oh, yeah, I'm stupid. I'm sorry, but I meant like it's just, how did that become the thing?
But I guess because people are now in their mindset, McDonald's, they're too good for McDonald's. It's certain stuff that they're basically they're not doing that no more.
We've become bougie.
We become bougie.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we like a person that can do like a crab platter, rice. You know what I mean? Something, you done seen some stuff that look good online and they post it and they promoting it, and then you can, especially nowadays, you can eat it at home. You don't even got to go to the restaurant. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So you got that going on. So now people are coming out the woodworks with these, meals and everything. Yeah. And so, like,
I'm guilty. I bought some. Yeah. You're right.
So, now people are, flocking towards them, like, what can I do for a plate? Because they sell out quick, you know what I mean? So
yeah, you're right. You're right. There's a lot of I think with this whole pandemic hitting, there's a lot of people on Instagram just like, this is the meetup spot, pop-up places that literally selling out.
And this is the time where people have gotten time to figure out what they can do outside of their normal work, or even if they are not working, something, a hustle. I call it a hustle, you know what I mean, because you're trying to figure it out until it turns into a career. DJing was a hustle for me before 2015. It was basically, if I get a gig, I get a gig. If I don't, I don't. I'm going to still go to work tomorrow. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Now it's a career. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't have to rely on that job anymore. I'm fully in. You see what I'm saying? Every day I'm something with DJing. You see what I'm saying? So that's when it turns a career. So right now, a lot of people are in the hustling stage where they be like, can I make money from this? Can I make money from that? You know what I mean? And trying to figure it out at the same time, until it turns into a career. So,
right. Man, that's nuts too. I mean, I think a lot of things I've started off in, especially music, but you've always had to have that job or career to fund it, your dream. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes working that job takes away from your motivation or inspiration. Yeah. And that balance.
Exactly.
It's hard.
It's tough, bro.
Yeah.
I spent 6 years in corporation, and my life was just,
You're drained.
I just wasn't happy. You know what I mean? She could tell, like, I was just like, man, this ain't it. This ain't me. You know what I mean? We surviving. We're bills paid, got a car, got everything that just to keep me running. But I felt like that's the real trap. You 100%. Talk about trap, you know what I mean? That's the real trap.
Yeah, there's no happiness there because the fruits of your labor, you even working for it, I didn't feel like I earned it.
Right.
Because it's not what I wanted, And
then you're just working to retire when you're old.
Yeah. 401ks, and
it's like, I'm going to get this big amount of money when I turn 56 or 55, and then I'm going to live my life. Nah.
Yeah, I refuse to I refuse.
I'm going to live my life now. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm going to do what I love now, and you know what I mean? Hopefully everything works out well, but it's just you got to be confident, you know what I mean?
And it's worth the risk, man. I mean, because you could sit around and daydream about it at the job that you hate, and that regret will eat you up.
Yeah.
That regret eats you up at 50, 60,
5 years in, bro. 5 years, no 9 to 5.
Damn,
You know what I mean?
that's a blessing.
That's a blessing, bro. That's a blessing. I look at it every day. I'd be like, this is where I come from. You know what I mean? But it's like you can't when you go that route, then you learn to appreciate it. You see what I'm saying? You learn to appreciate where you come from and what steps you made. Because you didn't know. Like, I didn't know how this shit was gonna pan out. I didn't know I was gonna be DJ Trill. That wasn't even my DJ name.
It's trillion cuts.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know none of this shit was gonna happen. But I just believed in myself and I took a risk and I invested it in and I knew me. I just like, okay, you know what I mean? I know people love me because I'm a good person.
Yeah.
So I never had a problem with people. Some people just have problems with people because of their personality or what type of person they are. You see what I'm saying? I never had a problem with people. You know what I mean? And that makes the perfect DJ. You see what I'm saying? Because people love DJs. And people
They do.
And take away the DJ name from me, people love me. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of went together. But that's why I think it was just, kind of was a smooth like transition. Like, okay, I'm here now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, no, the way you carry yourself and the DJ persona you have, they're the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you run into characters where they're alter egos?
Absolutely. I mean, some of them have to. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that hide their flaws by the character they play, which is, that's the industry. You know what I mean? When you get in the industry, music industry or any type of entertainment industry, it's characters all over.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I tell people this all the time. I say, bro, my name is DJ Trill, and I really live by that. You see what I'm saying? I really try to be true to who I am. You know what I mean? And not have it where like, oh, Trill ain't acting like himself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been like consistent all my life. You know what I mean? Whatever I like. Whatever I don't like. Nothing really just changed. You know what I mean? I just adapt to what's going on, but I never change who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what kept us gullible from bullshit.
Yeah.
Because we've been behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So we know how a lot of these artists really live. We know, we already know the facades of having money.
And that's why a lot of stuff don't impress me.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think stuff like that just now meeting me, you know what I mean, as DJ Trill. They try to throw stuff around where they think that's going to impress me, but I'll be like, nah, that don't impress me, bro. Who are you?
And that's such a gross action anyways. Like people
Yeah.
name dropping, throwing money, or it's like...
That's because a lot of people in the industry they like that type of stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, depending on who you deal with, then they think it works for everybody. But I'd be like, nah, like you know what I mean? I don't care about that. You see what I'm saying?
You can't be fooled by that. I think you'll progress further not being basically sidelined over shit like that.
Right.
But that's good. That's good, man. Actually, yeah, we've already hit the hour mark, man.
Damn, that shit was fast.
Yeah,
bro.
it was. But bro, stay true to you like you've been.
Appreciate
Stay
you.
Trill.
Same way.
And I'm just glad to see you and doing something that you love. And honestly, man, like you're a leader in what you do.
Appreciate you.
You got to keep that up.
Yeah.
You take ambition and you're at the forefront of everything that you want to do. And like this whole documentary, that's something you just want to do from the heart.
Right.
That brings awareness.
For sure.
Leaders do shit like that.
Because it's like a lot of people don't, before we go, a lot of people don't understand my role inside the boogie era because they don't know that I go back that far.
Yeah.
Only people know me from 2015. You know what I mean? A lot of people because there's DJ Trill, but like even just being in Dream Team while that was going on, we was the only R&B group that was trying to make it during this whole era. So we watched everybody move. We had arguments about, all right, we need to make a boogie record. You see what I'm saying? Just because the slow stuff it was like Dallas is having its time, but we're making the wrong music.
Yeah.
At this time. You see what I'm saying? So we're having shows with GS Boys. We're having shows with B-Ham. We're having shows with everybody that's popping. You see what I'm saying? And that's when they meet. That's why I still got those relationships because the artists remember me because I was out there. You know what I mean? I was in the clubs. I was in the circ. I was in everything. You know what I mean? So it's just my knowledge. I lived through it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like for someone like me to do it it's just kind of like, yeah, I gotta do it. You know what I mean? Because I seen it for myself. I lived through it and I loved it. You know what I mean? Because I was, like I said, I was the energy in Dream Team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was the dancing guy. You see what I'm saying? Like I was the boogie. I have Dougie videos and Mr. Hit That videos of myself that's back then that went viral and shit. So it's like it all makes sense. You know what I mean?
We're gonna loop all that shit when we promote this. We're gonna just show all them videos of you dancing and shit. No, I'm kidding.
Sure.
I'm kidding.
They're still on YouTube for sure.
No, but again, man, I appreciate you for coming, and I do want you back. So
yeah, we gotta do a part 2.
I gotta get a little preview or something. I need to see some of this documentary, man.
Oh, it's real. It's some good, man. It's some good stuff, bro. You're gonna be like, wow, bro. Like some of the stuff, like it's good though. It's like it's good. Wow, it's just like, dang, that's how that happened. That's how that person got on this record. That's what, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, bro. And I can't wait to get done. I know it's gonna be some time, but like it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Well, when it's time to release it again, just let's link up.
Cool.
Let's do that.
Cool.
Appreciate you for coming. Appreciate y'all for listening. Another podcast.